If the word oakum doesn't immediately ring a bell, don't worry. This isn't something we use in everyday conversation. And what would you do if I told you it was associated with a plant called Cannabis sativa? Now I know what you're thinking, and no, it is not associated with what we call marijuana or the depressant drug. Actually, it's from a plant called hemp. It is a rather odd little sounding plant, but the benefits for it are immense. This might be your first time hearing about the plant, but I can tell you it's actually very easy to gain knowledge on the topic if you know where to look. So, I was able to research extensively on several planes of material to be able to confidently provide you guys with information on the topic. So, I feel that now it is a perfect time to clarify just which plant we're talking about. Cannabis sativa is a strain of cannabis specifically cultivated for its fiber, seeds, and herds. This plant also contains only trace amounts of THC, so you can't smoke it to get a high. If you did smoke it, you'd probably only get a headache. Courtesy of Britannica.com. Actually, this plant's origin was thought to believe in Central Asia, and then its first dated use was actually in 2800 BCE in China, of all places. It later spread throughout to Europe through the Middle Ages, and then was assumed to be brought over by boat to Chile, and then spread to North America in the 1600s, also courtesy of Britannica.com. So, in order to be desired on several continents, this plant had to have immense benefits, right? Well, for ourselves, this plant provides seeds, oil, hearts, and milk. Also, what I found to be incredibly interesting is this plant actually provides us with CBD oil. See, some people think that CBD oil is from the strain of cannabis that is used in the present drug use, but it's not. CBD oil also helps with muscle relaxing and anti-inflammatory purposes, courtesy of CNN. For our planet, this plant also has benefits as well. Specifically, what I found to be interesting is that this plant can be made into a bioplastic. See, you specifically take out a part of the plant called the hurd, which is the woody little part of the stem. It's incredibly highly absorbent and rich in cellulose, and it also has thermal and acoustic properties which make it incredibly adaptable, incredibly useful in many certain fields. So, in order to be made a bioplastic, this part of the plant is then ground up into a pulp and then pressed into different molds that could be used in certain plastic products. But instead, this plant is actually very easy to break down by the environment, and it's easily recyclable. For our economy, this plant has actually been proven to be less expensive to extract the proteins than soybeans. Also, it reaches a harvesting maturity quicker than lumber, so we don't have to wait as long for to get products out of this plant than we would for trees. The hurd, as I have previously stated, it's the woody little part of the stem, can actually create hempcrete and insulation. Hempcrete is concrete made from the products of hemp. So, there's also a part of the plant called the bast. The bast is this little kind of string that if you cut it horizontally up the stalk, if you extract it correctly, it kind of looks like a little string of fiber. This string can then be made into clothing as well as being priced into construction material, which I found to be incredibly interesting. And all of these facts in this last paragraph were from the Ministry of Health. So, what makes all this possible? Well, what I found to be interesting, that I thought you guys would find to be interesting as well, is that hemp can live almost anywhere. it's not incredibly picky about its environments and needs for soil. So this means that the pH balance in the soil doesn't need to be a particular level. It can live in practically anything. Its demand for water supply is not necessarily very high, so it doesn't have to be in a tropical climate. The only thing that it's a little picky about is that the clay in the soil cannot be very much. Otherwise, it feels suffocated and can't live very well in these environments, courtesy of Britannica.com. So, the harvesting process, one of the most popular harvesting processes, is called retting. So retting is where they cut the product and then they leave it to rest on the field for about 3 days. This gives time for the product, the plant, to partially decompose a little bit and rot. So this kind of sounds a little weird, I know, but this actually gives the plant the ability to feed nutrients back into the soil for next year's harvest. And this makes it easier to extract the parts of the plant that we need, like the hurd or the bast. So also, what I thought to be interesting is that if the bast, which is the little string of fiber in the middle of the stalk, if it is harvested correctly, this piece of fiber can actually be proven to be stronger than steel, courtesy of the Ministry of Hemp as well. So, if this is such a useful plant, why are we not producing it more? Well, until recently, hemp was considered to be in the same drug category as marijuana, that strain of cannabis, even though it does not provide any amount of THC, any near the level that it would need to be if you were to smoke it to get high. So it was actually signed into agricultural legalization within this last year. So the only reason that we haven't really been able to take advantage of this opportunity is because it is so new, courtesy of CNN. So now, I feel it is time to remind you all of why I decided to share this knowledge with you. So as I have explained, and hopefully you guys now understand, the benefits from hemp are plentiful, and the opportunities that await us if we mainstream this type of resource are waiting for us. So from our health to our economy and our planet, this plant can only hold a positive role. So now knowing what it is, the benefits, the production of it, the products, we can start to make positive changes toward our future and hopefully for our future generations' future. So, this plant might have a little recognition now, but it may not be that way for long. Who knows? Maybe we'll be living in houses made of hemp and driving cars that run on hemp fuel. The possibilities are simply endless.